to lead with integrity.
It's the one that gives you a lot of fulfillment.
We get to influence the way people think, the way people do things.
Do all my efforts because I felt that this boy will.
Hello everyone, welcome to InCharge, where we get the news from the source, from those in charge in their organizations, leaders from different industries who are making an impact in the society today. I am Nicole Cordaves, your host. Hello everyone, today we are with Yusek Anton Mauricio of the National Development Company. Hello sir, thank you for guesting here and InCharge.
Hello, thank you, Nicole.
So, sir, this is the first time I'm actually hearing about the National Development Company. Can you tell us something about it?
Well, that's a common reaction. Not a lot of people these days have heard of the NDC, but we are the oldest government investment company. We're actually the oldest government company outside of the Philippine Post Office and the Boy Scouts of the Philippines. We're older than the Republic. So this year, 2024, we are 105 years old, started in 1919. And being the oldest government investment company, we basically built the country. We used to own Philippine Airlines, National Steel Corporation, National Power Corporation, Philippine National Construction Corporation, planted pineapples in Mindanao and bananas and turned them over to Del Monte and Dole, airstrips, ships, mines, you name it.
So it was the foundation of everything.
Yes, almost everything. So it was a semi-private corporation until 1939. Our charter our latest charter is 1979 under the father of the current president. And I came in 2022, appointed by the president as a general manager and Undersecretary under the DTI. The NDC is under the DTI.
So, sir, is there a re-envisioning project of sorts when you underwent this?
Well, when I was appointed, I, like you, also didn't know about NDC or not much. I heard about it from older colleagues in the finance sector. I'm basically a financial practitioner, so 32 years in finance, and I started out investment banking, management consulting, strategic advisory. And one of my colleagues in the Financial Executives Institute, Fred Pascual, was appointed as a DTI secretary, and they couldn't find anybody that fit the bill in NDC. It had been managed fairly well by the last general manager for 16 years, CPA also from my alma mater, the UP, and so they didn't know I was interested. And when my name came up, Fred said, "Oh, I didn't know he was interested in joining government." Well, being from UP, it's my time to serve.
Yeah.
So serve the government for 25 months. And to circle back to your question, Nicole, see, the key difference of NDC being the oldest government company is, unlike other government companies, we can go anywhere. So National Power, Philippine Mining Development Corporation, mining, we can go anywhere. So what do? We invest. And then after we invest, if it becomes successful, then we devolve it to the private sector or the government. So we actually created many GOCCs. And we are ourselves are a GOCC and a GFI, a government finance institution. So it's a difficult question to answer because our ambit is very broad, the broadest, and are the broadest of any government company, and our charter is the most powerful charter of a government company in the Philippines. So when I came in, my lawyer friends were like, "Oh my God, you can do so much, and why hasn't NDC been doing something?" Well, lack of awareness, government that became bigger. There's a lot of government agencies doing a lot of things that we no longer have to do as NDC. So what I saw was that the NDC could look at the gaps that the agencies and the government, for whatever reason, are not able to do. And so we fill those gaps because we're the only one capable of doing so. So government agencies normally just spend for development, but they don't have a corporate vehicle to do so. What we do is we go into a project and say, okay, how can we go into that and still make money for the government? So we have a developmental objective and also a profit-making objective on behalf of the government. So it's a bit tricky.
Yeah,
So,
but it's also something that the people have been wanting from the government. Then at the same time, it has been a frustration for so long, diba?
Yes, and it still is. What I had to do internally was align mindsets first, do capacity building, streamlining, and say, look, we have the potential to actually fill these gaps. And after the 100th year of NDC in 2019, the direction was, the tagline was enabling the future. So that's a bit broad, but it's also very appropriate. So how do you enable the future for Philippine development? Can I go on?
Yes, yes.
I just
please.
feel that I've been talking so long. Okay. So the Philippines has fallen behind. That's accepted. We have to accept that, and we're really now a rising star in Asia. We're the fastest growing country. Bright potential. We have to catch up. It's our time. It's our time to level up. How do we do that? Well, there's a pro and a con. Let's start with a con. Con is we're like maybe 5, 10, 20, 30 years behind depending on the sector. Technology, right? But pro is we don't have to go through the mistakes that the other countries went through in order to reach that level of development.
Yeah.
We can benchmark them, skip those mistakes, and jumpstart. And how do we do that? Through technology and innovation. Okay, and that's the space that I directed NDC to fill. Look at the gaps. How can we fill those gaps? Not just by being innovative, filling it with technology, and combining it with the assets of the Philippines and the Filipino. So I'll get into that maybe later.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that was quite a lot.
Yeah,
But
sorry.
can you describe to us the difference between being a managing head, for example, in your private sector before, and then now leading publicly?
Okay, there are pros and cons. Well, being part of government, I'd have to say that there are a lot of patriots. There's a lot of government, employees and civil servants. Overwhelming majority have their hearts in the right place. They do what's best for the country. The con is that there's a systemic stasis infecting the entire government because the mindset is, to cut the long story short, we don't pay our people enough. They're not motivated to excel. And if I would identify off the top of my head what the big problem is with government, what the big problems are with the government administration, it's the Commission and Audit, it's the procurement process, it's the Bureau of Internal Revenue, it's customs. They make it so hard. That's why the most important agency in government is ARTA, the Anti-Red Tape Authority. And it's so hard to get people in line. What is the mindset behind this problem? Why is it like that? It was summed up by former British ambassador here in the Philippines. I was running a British company 10 years ago, and basically he put it succinctly. He said, in the UK, we make laws assuming that people are gonna do right. And then you basically trust your people to do right and you make laws around that. The Philippines makes laws based on the assumption that the Filipinos are going to do wrong, that somehow they're going to cheat, that somehow they're going to lie, that somehow they're going to steal. So you make laws so restrictive that you make government not agile anymore. And that's one of the reasons why we have been stunted in terms of development of government. And you're talking about the private sector and the public sector and what I saw. That's what I saw. In the private sector, there's not a lot of red tape. You know, people are not afraid of the Commission of the Audit. You know, people are not afraid as a head of agency of being sued. You know, being put out there in the public, being criticized when you're just trying to do things right. So how are you going to get the best and brightest to work for government? Like Singapore, they get the best and brightest. They pay them top dollar. People are proud to work for government. That's not the case in the Philippines. So that has got to change, right? Because right now, when the Filipino people look at the Philippine government, they just want them out of the way. They don't even want the government's help. Please, just don't get in the way. Just don't get in the way of progress, right? Whereas, I have to say, in other countries, they expect the government to help. I'm not saying the government is not doing anything. There's a lot of government programs. There's a lot of help. But you ask me what the big difference is, and that's a big difference.
But sir, for your last question, just to wrap everything up, how would you say you have left the government agency better?
When I submitted my resignation a couple of weeks ago, I put a 2-year accomplishment report of my accomplishments. I'm pretty proud of them. Of course, I shot for the moon. I didn't make it, but I'm still pretty proud. Streamlining and capacity building of a 105-year-old company with calcified mindsets, moving them into action is something of a feat in itself. But I was able to do it. What did I have to show for it? Well, I basically streamlined the organization so that it would be more efficient. Of course, you spend more, but you invest in the projects. Because our mandate is equity investment, project financing, asset management, fund management, and support services. I added even another one for the process. I asked for an innovation audit from the Global Authority on Innovation Management. It's basically the ISO of innovation management, the Global Institute for Global Innovation Management Institute. And I subjected NDC to that. It's still being audited right now because I want to be the first Philippine government agency to be certified for innovation management. We are already ISO certified for 14 years for all our management systems. So I continued that. I doubled our projects. We invested for our Startup Venture Fund because NDC chairs the Startup Venture Fund of the Philippine government. We invested in AI, in deep tech, electricity utilization, circular economy. So these are investments the government don't normally make.
Yeah.
And what we want to do is to message the startup community, the startup ecosystem, that the government is not here to get in your way, but here to help. And that's what I've been doing for the past couple of years. So internally, capacity building, streamlining; externally, supporting the startup ecosystem of the Philippine government, and supporting innovation projects that are pioneering, developmental, sustainable, inclusive, and innovative. We don't have time to discuss, but I'll give you 5 projects. First one, we're going to fund the first vaccine manufacturing plant in the Philippines.
Oh.
Pending application with government started 2012. If the pandemic was 2020, if that was approved by the government, we would have had our own plant. We would have been self-sufficient during the pandemic, the COVID. 2 years later, after me, I've been trying to push it. Hopefully, we're going to be able to fund it already. Second, internet connectivity of the areas outside, what we call the GIDA areas, geographically isolated and disadvantaged areas. They don't have sometimes power, water, internet connectivity. So I looked for a provider, Pacific, which is already providing it. I said, can we assure for the next several years the internet connectivity of these areas? And I said, okay, why don't we enter into a contract? You pre-purchase us, you for a fraction of the cost, multi-year, and then sell it to the ICT to assure the internet connection, the broadband satellite interconnection with new technology of government clinics, of schools, of LGUs for free Wi-Fi. So I'm going to do that purchase. We're going to earn money and yet give the government less cost for that purchase. So that's another project. We last November 19 launched the first ever biomolecular diagnostic manufacturing facility in the Philippines, in Marikina. What does that mean? They create diagnostic kits, test kits for COVID, for avian flu, for swine flu. They have their own lab there. It's Industry 4.0. First, it's scientists from UP Manila, commercialized, successful commercial model. And they beat it, they won awards, they beat the technology of the Americans, the Germans, the Japanese, something really to be proud of. We launched it, we funded it. That's the third. There's the fourth and the fifth. Southeast Asian Biosecurity Institute for our for the next pandemic, for the next swine flu, avian flu. We have to have our own research center. Prevent the brain drain, right? So we're collaborating with Kansas State University and Murdoch University from Australia to put the first ever biosecurity institute in the Philippines, and then offering it to the other Southeast Asian countries. I mean, we have the International Rice Research Institute, we have the Asian Development Bank. Why can't we have our own Southeast Asian Biosecurity Institute? So I'm pushing that. All of these are first ever, and of course our Philippine Innovation Hub. I signed an MOU in Singapore. We're putting two. Singapore Management University is hosting us, and Murdoch University in Singapore is hosting us. What's the point of the Philippine Innovation Hub? When the investors come in, they look at Southeast Asia, they ignore the Philippines. So Philippine Innovation Hub in Singapore and in Hong Kong, they say, oh, what's going on with the Philippines? Well, 110 million population, fastest growth, young, tech-savvy population. Please, invest in us. You have to have an office there. So they're going to host our office.
Oh.
Yeah, we're going to have the Filipinos there, staff it. Those who are studying there.
Yeah.
Those are just 5 of a pipeline of more than 100 projects that I initiated in the past 25 months. So for me, we've done a lot, but we can do more.
Yeah.
So I intend to do the same in the private sector. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, sir, for
Yeah,
sharing with us your knowledge.
I think I
today.
ran out of time. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you for watching. This has been In Charge.